வாழ்க வளமுடன், வாழ்க வையகம். In the whole world, live in peace, prosperity, and harmony. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you all for joining us in this wonderful evening time to discuss about Kundalini meditation. For this session, I am happy to invite Dr. Achyuthan Eswar, who has been more than my son, my guru, in terms of following a healthy diet. He has helped hundreds and thousands of patients over the last about few years, almost about 6 or 7 years, if I'm not wrong, in healing oneself of various lifestyle diseases with only diet. Welcome to the show, Dr. Achyuthan Eswar. Please unmute yourself, Achyuthan. Achyuthan, are you there? Okay, yes, having some technical issues. To start this video. Achyuthan, can you please unmute yourself? Could you please start the video?
Be blessed. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Great, great. I'm sorry, there seems to be some network issues, so I'm getting logged out twice. Let's hope that this time it continues steady.
Right. Okay. So anyway, so we are on live on YouTube as well, and very happy to have you today with us. I thought we will spend a few minutes today to discuss about Kundalini meditation and weight loss. This concept of losing weight has gained attention over the last decade or two, especially after the WHO announced that obesity today is assumed a massive proportion. It's become a worldwide disorder of sorts. So, first question to you is, can you lose weight through any form of meditation, especially a meditation like our simplified Kundalini meditation? Is it possible to lose weight through Kundalini meditation?
Sure. So obesity is a chronic lifestyle disease. Lifestyle disease means a disease that comes because of three aspects of our lifestyle. Number one, and most important, is our diet, the food we eat. The second is the mind, mental stress, mental relaxation. And the third is physical exercise. When we follow the right path on all of these three pillars of a healthy lifestyle, then we stay healthy. We don't put on excess weight, and if you do have excess weight, you'll be able to lose it easily. When we make mistakes knowingly or unknowingly in the areas of our lifestyle, then we fall sick with chronic lifestyle diseases, from obesity to diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, which are all related to one another.
All right, interesting. So, do you suggest or do you have any expert opinion on whether meditation affects metabolism?
Sure. In fact, interestingly, meditation reduces the metabolic rate. If you just go by that definition, you would think that the more you meditate, the more weight you're going to put on. But it's actually an interplay of various factors. Uh, so if you look at why we put on weight in the first place, you'd find that 80% of the cause lies with your diet and 20% with the mind and with physical exercise. Your diet, in turn, your ability to eat a healthy diet is directly related to the amount of stress you have on your mind. On a very relaxed day when you're surrounded by family and friends, you don't have much work to do, you're on vacation, you don't feel like snacking the whole day. You're happy just sitting with your loved ones, you are happy doing your work, and you're happy eating your 2 or 3 meals a day. But on a day when you have a lot of stress, you have a lot of work to do, you don't have the support that you need, maybe you got into a fight or two, you're feeling down, that's when you feel like snacking. The kind of snacks that we choose, the kind of foods that we use to cook our meals, that eventually decides whether we stay healthy or not. So meditation reduces the metabolic rate, but it keeps you healthy through a number of various mechanisms. The first one is it reduces the amount of stress hormones that the body releases. So directly, meditation reduces the effect of chronic stress on your body, and that helps your body to avoid ADP. Meditation improves your body's ability to respond in stressful situations. Even if you do face a stressful situation, your body doesn't get tense, your mind doesn't get tense when you're in that situation if you've been practicing meditation before. Meditation helps you to lengthen, to increase the activity of the enzymes that protect your DNA. Your telomere length stays longer, which means aging slows down. The detriments that come with aging, the chronic diseases that get worse with aging, all of those get slowed down through regular meditation practice. So although meditation slows down your metabolic rate, it can help you reduce your weight at the same time if you're overweight to begin.
Lovely. So you spoke, in fact, about three things that help someone to reduce weight. I heard you say that one was the correct mindset, namely meditation related calming practices such as introspection, etc. Second, you said is exercises. Did I hear that right? The third one was diet. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay. So I understand from what you're saying is meditation can help your mind remain calm, and therefore you do not really get into wrong sort of practices, overeating, too much of snacking, stress, and therefore the telomere you talked about, the length being intact for a long time, which determines the age, of course, for a human being, which I have understood from your earlier talks and discussions with you. So yes, I understand all of this. So let me just ask you a question related to the second dimension that you talked about, which is exercise. In that exercise, are there any specific set of exercises that can help to reduce weight? Say, for instance, any specific yoga asanas?
Sure. Interestingly, a lot of people, like most people, think that you want to lose weight, start exercising. That's the only way in which you're going to do it. Interestingly, it's not true. Exercise forms only a small component of weight loss. And this is because when you look at the amount of energy that the body uses, you find that a majority of that energy goes into your basal metabolism, the energy that the body uses by itself just to keep you alive and healthy. Only a small percentage goes towards exercise. Let me give you an example. If you are eating, say, one samosa or one cup of gulab jamun, that has about 250 to 300 calories. If you want to exercise enough to burn off that 250 to 300 calories, let's say you go on a brisk walk, you'll need to walk for a good 45 minutes in order to do that. If you go for a swim, which is the most strenuous exercise, you will need to swim for about 22 to 20, 25 to 27 minutes just to burn off 300 calories. So if you attempt to exercise off, burn off all the calories that you're eating in a day, it's not going to be possible. You'll have to keep exercising for hours and hours the whole day, and it may still not happen by that calculation. Instead, what we need to do is we need to exercise to stay healthy and eat to lose weight. If we follow this principle, then it's a lot easier to achieve your ideal.
Lovely. So you're saying calorie in, calorie out is the wrong principle to reducing weight. Did I understand that right?
That's right.
All right. So between calorie out through exercises and physical yoga, etc., and calorie in, you emphasize calorie in or food that you take, the diet that you eat, to be more important in terms of reducing weight. Can you elaborate on that, please?
So a calorie is a calorie. You may have heard this, right? A calorie is a calorie, but that's only true in a lab. In real life, it's not so true. So for example, let's say the same example as before. You take a cup of gulab jamun, you eat it, it tastes great, but you're not full. It's not a filling meal. You have eaten 300 calories, but you're hungry for more. If you get the same amount of calories from a naturally sweet, healthy food, like a fruit, for example, watermelon, you would have to eat almost 1 kg of watermelon just to get that 300 calories, right? And that's going to fill you up. That's not a small snack. That may even be an entire meal in itself. You may not be able to eat much after that. So, the trick to understanding calories is something called calorie density. How much of calories is packed into this one spoon of food, into this one cup of food? The more calories that are packed into it, the more weight you are likely to gain. The less calories in in that cup of food, the less weight you're going to gain, and the faster you'll reach your ideal weight. So at once, when you eat a meal, the stomach, on average, the human stomach has a capacity to hold about 4 cups of food. When you reach 4 cups of food, you feel full. That's on average. What have you eaten in those 4 cups? Have you eaten plenty of fruits and vegetables? Have you eaten greens, pulses, legumes, dals, whole grains? Then you'll probably reach your ideal weight. Have you eaten processed foods? Have you eaten animal foods, dairy products, oily foods, foods with sugar, jaggery, white rice, maida, meat, fish, or eggs? Then you're likely to gain weight. So it's not even about portion control. It's not about calorie counting. It's about calorie density. And that helps you to, as I like to say in my sessions, eat more and weigh less. And I think you and I are examples of how we can do this. You can eat your fill every day without feeling like you're constraining yourself. Really fill your stomach up to your satisfaction and yet stay at your ideal weight.
All right. So let me just summarize what you just said. Calorie in, calorie out is not the correct way to lose weight. One has to become conscious about calorie density. Approximately 4 cups of food will make us feel full, and we must ensure that we eat fruits, vegetables, legumes, dals, millet, etc., and avoid animal food, dairy, heavily processed food, and therefore we can end up eating more and still weigh less.
Absolutely, you got it.
Okay, now help us understand what is that diet that can actually help us to reduce weight and gain health?
The healthiest diet on the planet for human beings has been proven to be the whole food plant based diet. Now, this may seem like a new term to some of you watching this video, but if you translate it to an Indian language, it's so much easier to understand. Whole food means Sampurna Ahara, and plant based food means Sasyahara or Shakahara. We know this. We've grown up, listening to these terms, using these terms. So Sampurna Ahara, Sasyahara, whole food plant-based diet means you minimize your intake of unhealthy food such as animal and processed food. You maximize your intake of healthy, unprocessed, plant-based foods. It does not mean that you need to go on a diet. You don't need to give up your favorite food. You don't need to restrict yourself. You don't need to control your cravings. You can eat anything and everything you want as long as you use the right ingredients to make it. For example, we have a kitchen called sampurnahara.com in Bangalore where we cook and serve food every day to hundreds of people across the city. We make pizzas, we make pasta, there's burgers, there is curd rice, sambar rice, rasam rice, there's idli dosa, vada, there's pakoda, bhaji bonda, there is different types of chutneys, there are kheer, paisam, muruk, mixture, all of these amazing delicious foods, but we make them only using whole plant ingredients. That's what makes them
Lovely. So I understand that the healthiest diet is the whole food plant-based diet. And you call it Sampurna Ahara, Sasyahara, or Shakahara. So can you help us understand what exactly is whole food plant-based diet? What is included in that? What is not included in that? Of course, you touched upon it when you defined it a couple of minutes ago, but if you can summarize that and give us in the essence of the WFPB diet, that would help our audience.
Oh, so in a nutshell, if you want to live disease free and reach your optimal health and longevity, like, a great way to start is to eliminate animal foods and processed foods. That means from today onwards, reduce, minimize, and eliminate meat, fish, eggs, milk, curds, cheese, yogurt, paneer, butter, buttermilk, and ghee, oil, sugar, jaggery, white rice, maida, and alcohol.
Now, what else do we eat? You've
What
got
do
knocked off everything.
The answer to that question, we eat not just salads, not just juices our whole life, but we eat a variety of whole plant foods. This includes fruits, dry fruits, and nuts, seeds, um, vegetables, green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, gourd vegetables, root vegetables, tubers. You have dals, pulses, legumes, whole grains like unpolished rice, millets, and whole wheat, herbs and spices, all the masalas you can think of, and even mushrooms. Mushrooms are great healthy food as well. So you can practically eat anything you want as long as you prepare them using these.
Achyuthan, are you back? We
Yes.
lost you for a few seconds. Okay, so last couple of sentences, I think we lost. Could you just repeat that, please?
Okay. So we eat a diet that is rich in whole plant foods, including fruits, vegetables, dry fruits and nuts, green leafy vegetables, dals, pulses and legumes, whole grains, herbs and spices, any masala that you like, and even mushrooms. Mushrooms are great healthy foods as well. Although technically they're not plants, they're fungus, but we had called you for a talk about meditation and plant and fungus based diet. I doubt many people would have turned up, but you could call it a whole food plant-based diet. Mushrooms are great.
Understood. So when you talk about whole food plant-based diet, which includes fruits, vegetables, leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, includes pulses, legumes, it includes various other wonderful things that we just talked about, millets, etc. How exactly does this diet help us to lose weight? What really happens to the body when you eat this kind of food?
Sure. So it's all to do with calorie density. For example, we had the gulab jamun and watermelon comparison. Same number of calories, 300, but it's 1 cup of gulab jamun, 1 kg of watermelon. When you think about it, Google water content of vegetables and water content of fruits, you'll find that 80%, 90%, 97% of some fruits and vegetables is just water. So it's basically like you're drinking a big bowl of salad. Most of it is water, and then the rest of it is all the nutrients that your body needs to stay healthy, all the good, great nutrients that so the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the more dals, pulses you eat, the fuller you feel while having consumed a less number of calories. And that's the secret. That's the trick to losing weight if you're overweight and reaching your ideal weight easily without ever having to go on a diet. Because you and I know diets don't work. You can go on a diet for a week, for a month, 6 months, but eventually you're going to come back to the food you're used to eating all your life. You can't stay on a diet for the rest of your life, right? That's because going on a diet means my doctor told me not to eat this, so I won't eat it. You can't do that forever. You can't control our cravings forever, and it's not required either. Right? Instead of saying I can't eat this cake, think about saying, I have baked an amazing, delicious chocolate cake, completely healthy, and I'm going to eat this every day for dinner for the next 1 week and still stay at my ideal weight. That's what I'm talking about. That's how a calorie dilute, whole food, plant based diet can keep you at your ideal weight.
Calorie dilute whole food plant based diet. Very interesting term that you have suggested for our audience to ponder about, think about. So help us understand, when you knock off a whole list of things not to eat: sugar, not allowed; jaggery, not allowed; ghee, not allowed; butter, not allowed; oil, not allowed; buttermilk, not allowed; curds, yogurts, not allowed. So, so such a huge list. Maida, not allowed; white rice, not allowed; rava, not allowed. Uh, Now, how do we eat our favorite food and still eat healthy?
Sure, sure. So, okay, so two things, right? One is it's not that none of these foods are not allowed, but rather think about the health consequences of eating these foods, right? For example, I'm sure practically everyone who's attending this program has tried brown rice or red rice or millet rice at some point in their life, like, if not every day. We all know that white rice is unhealthy. You know that millets are healthier. You know that brown rice is healthier. You may have even tried it at some point. And that's what I'm talking about. Simple, easy changes. Shifting from white rice to brown rice. Shifting from frying to baking. You want to make a pakoda? Make 25 pakodas. Eat them all, but make sure they're baked and not fried. If you want to make, um, you know, I don't know, you want to make a pizza, make cheese using plants. You can make cheese from cashews, from potatoes, from soya milk. There are so many amazing recipes that you can try out and make it. In fact, if any of you are looking for recipes to try out, do check out our website, nutritionscience.in. We have a free plant-based recipes online course with more than 200 different recipes you can try out. Most of them are traditional Indian recipes, but we have recipes from outside India as well, which give exact steps to replicate your favorite dishes, but in a healthy manner. So we talk about how to make a sambar without oil, how to make a palya or poriyal without oil, how to make curd rice without using dairy curd, how do you make almond milk in the healthiest way, milk alternative. So try out some of the recipes, do it at home. Once you get used to oil-free cooking, once you get used to healthy cooking, it's so much easier than your regular cooking. You don't need to stand at the stove. You don't need to keep stirring your vegetables every 2, 3 minutes. You can just put all the food on the stove in three, four, in your two stoves at home, or two stove tops that you have, and forget about it. Come back after 15 minutes, turn off the stove, and it's fully cooked. It's that easy when you cook without oil. not just the cooking and the eating, but even the cleaning. Cleaning vessels without oil, so much easier.
Lovely. Thank you very much for giving us hope and confidence that we can indeed eat all our favorite food and not compromise on the taste of the food. What about salt? Does it have any impact on the weight of the person? Does it have any, is there any limitation as to how much of salt one must eat? Is there any other health complication related to salt intake?
Sure. So salt is not directly related to weight gain. However, most processed food contain plenty of added salt. Packaged food, junk food has much more salt than we use at home. A lot of us think that the salt at home that we use is fine, but the average Indian salt consumption is about 10 to 12 grams a day. The maximum quantity of salt that the human body is able to tolerate without increasing our risk of chronic disease is about 3.75 grams a day. That's it. That's about three-fourths of a teaspoon. Anything more than that in the entire day, whether we add it to the food or someone else has added it to the food in their shelf, increases our risk of stomach cancer, increases risk of hypertension, kidney failure, heart attacks, and strokes, which are all dangerous and widely prevalent diseases. What if we reduce our salt intake? It's easy for us to reduce our risk of developing these diseases and get healthier easily. So, let me also share a couple of tips to reduce the quantity of salt. The first one is to actually measure your salt in the morning. Most of us just take the salt dabba and add it on top of the food while cooking. Instead of that, try this. Take three-fourths of a teaspoon in a measuring spoon. If you don't have one, you can get it at a nearby store easily. Three-fourths teaspoon of salt per person in the morning at home. Take it, keep it in a cup. Use only that salt for the whole day. The second tip is to always add salt after cooking. Once you've finished cooking, you take the vegetables off the stove, then mix your salt in. That way, you need less salt to get a stronger, saltier taste. The third and final tip is to use a small quantity of soya in some form in your cooking. You could use miso paste instead of salt, which is a fermented soya paste. You could use soya milk. You could use tofu or just soya bean, soya flour in your idlis or dosas or chapati or your dal sambar. The reason I'm recommending this is soya helps to protect your body from the negative effects of salt. When you eat a salty meal, within half an hour, your BP is going to shoot up by at least a few points. But in that same meal, if you added soya, your BP does not go up, it stays the same. So reduce the quantity of salt you use, add it at the end to improve the flavor, and use soya to protect yourself even from that little bit of salt that you consume.
Thank you for clarifying on the salt part of it. Now tell us, does this whole food plant-based diet system give us all the nutrients that we require for living and leading a healthy life?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, it not only provides you all the nutrients that you need, it also provides you phytonutrients, phytochemicals, which are special chemicals that plants make to keep themselves healthy. They can keep you healthy when you eat plant foods. For example, chlorophyll is a phytonutrient. It makes energy in plants, converts sunlight to energy. When you eat green leafy vegetables, within half an hour, scientists can actually detect the energy production in your body going up because of the chlorophyll that you've eaten. The chlorophyll goes to the cells and sits there to produce energy. So it is nutritionally complete. It gives you all the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals that you need at all stages of life, from pregnancy to lactation, infancy, childhood, um, teenage, adults, elderly, helps to satisfy all the nutritional requirements and keep you healthy, except for two nutrients. The first one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is not made by plants. It's made by animals like human beings. So all we need to do, stand in the sunlight, direct sunlight on the face and arm for 20 to 30 minutes a day.
You're
If
talking
you're
about vitamin D.
vitamin D, yes. So if you're not able to do this, then you can take a supplement of vitamin D3, 2000 units a day is what we recommend. The other vitamin that plant-based diet does not provide is vitamin B12. Now, vitamin B12 is not made by plant or by animal. Vitamin B12 is made by bacteria which live in soil. So if you're living a completely natural yogic lifestyle in the forest, in the middle of nature, little bit of dirt under your fingernails, drinking water from the streams and wells, that gives you the enough B12 that. But since we're all living in cities, a more sanitized lifestyle, especially today, we recommend taking a vitamin B12 supplement regardless of the diet that you're taking. Um, Cyanocobalamin is the name, and we recommend at least 50 micrograms a day or 2000 micrograms once a week. Either of these will.
Lovely, lovely. Excellent. I think you have covered pretty much the entire breadth of what we wanted to ask with respect to meditation and the weight loss. Is there anything that I have not asked that you would like to cover with respect to this topic that we have chosen for the day?
Sure. I find that in a lot of my patients, the biggest, most difficult step is deciding to get started. I'm sure it's the same with meditation. You spend days and weeks and months and years deciding to start meditating. Then once you start, you can't stop because it just feels so good, feels great. If we are able to overcome that initial inertia, then it becomes so easy, so simple to lead a healthy lifestyle. Now, it's difficult in the beginning. It's not easy. Same as meditation. You sit for 20 minutes, never having meditated before in your life, you're not going to be able to concentrate for more than a few seconds at a time. But when you practice every day, within a few days itself, you can see a significant change in your ability to focus. You can see a change in your mental peace. You can see a change in your personality. All of these help to reinforce the healthy diet that you're eating at home. It helps to control, reduce the amount of cravings that you have. It helps you to reduce that feeling of hunger at times when you're not actually hungry, but the feeling of snacking that reduces. It helps you to really understand when you're feeling full, so you avoid stuffing yourself and then feeling uncomfortable later. And it helps you to plan your diet better, choose the right foods so that you are able to achieve your optimal health and longevity.
Thank you. That's a very valuable input that you have offered us. I just wanted to show the. I just want to show two websites that you mentioned. One is Nutrition Science. There are about 200 recipes that are available for free that people can sign up. It's right there on the home page. One can click and go ahead and just enter your name and email ID and phone number, and you can sign up. And you get about 200 Indianized Indian recipes. It's all Indian recipes. These recipes are available, off. You can just download it. You can read them. You can store them. You can visit them. You get lifelong access to the 200 recipes, and I believe more and more recipes are planned to be added onto this course. Is this right, Achyuthan?
That's right.
Okay. So the second website that you mentioned is about Sampurna Ahara. We have a whole lot of interesting stuff. If you are in Bangalore, you can order the meal right from here. If you're in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, any major city within the country, then the sweets and the snacks are getting delivered across the nation. And there are also, of course, free recipes that are available. Right now, there's another book called as the Whole Food Plant-Based Diet Beginner's Guide that is getting written, and hopefully in the next couple of days that also will get published, and that'll be free. So it's a 200-page or 150-page book that is available. That's going to be soon be available on sampurnahara.com. And if you are signing up either for Nutrition Science or for Sampurna Ahara, then you could be on our email list and you will keep receiving any news updates, any information. Every day there is an email that Dr. Achyuthan Eswar writes and sends it across. So you can simply just click reply button and he responds to every single mail. I know he doesn't keep any mails pending for more than 24 hours. He likes to give personal attention for people. You can book an appointment with him by just clicking the book an appointment button in the homepage of Sampurna Ahara. It's also available on Nutrition Science. So I just thought I will just show you so that you can follow up with Dr. Achyuthan directly if you require any specific assistance from him. Now, I would like to open this floor for question and answer, if you don't mind, Achyuthan.
Great.
Okay, great. We have Mr. Rajiv Maharotra. Let me request him to unmute. Rajiv sir, could you please unmute yourself? You can ask the question directly to Achyuthan. You have a question on protein.
Yeah, what are the sources of protein in plant-based foods? And how come that if plant-based foods are such a comprehensive solution, that we still have to take calcium and vitamin B12 supplements? I mean, if you start looking in terms of evolutionary biology and evolution of medical systems such as plant-based diets, exclusively plant-based diets, and you're not talking about a predominantly based plant-based diets. So I see two contradictions here. That on the one hand, we're talking about something completely holistic, and on the other hand, we're saying, you can take synthetic vitamin B and synthetic calcium supplements. And I think that it has been a global sort of concern about vegetarianism, and that may not be entirely plant-based, that there is frequently in a typical diet that most people are able to easily access, that there's vitamin B12 and calcium and also protein deficiency. So how hard do you have to work to make up for these, and how do you legitimize synthetic vitamins and supplements?
Great, that's a lovely question. I'll put it this way. As long as you're eating a well-balanced plant-based diet on a daily basis, it is impossible to get a protein deficiency. It's simply not possible to make that happen. If you are starving, then yes, you will have a protein deficiency, but you'll also have a deficiency of all other nutrients when you don't have enough food to eat. In fact, the protein deficiency disorder, kwashiorkor, which was named by a scientist, the same scientist spent the rest of her life trying to disprove that kwashiorkor is a disease of protein deficiency. And she finally got the name changed to protein energy malnutrition, which means that it's a deficiency of protein, carbohydrate, and fat, basically all nutrients. It's the deficiency of food. If you look at evolution, you find that human beings have evolved as frugivorous animals. So frugivores are a subclassification of herbivores, a species that predominantly thrives on a fruit-based diet.
That's not true. Man's evolution started with eating meat. And I mean, look, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not making a case. I'm just trying to understand process that
Sure.
in evolutionary biology, man started with eating meat.
Sure. So I'd love to debate this some more with you when you're free. But I would recommend.
Let me finish. And then a man evolved into agriculture and started growing foods. And then a major source of nutrient deficiency today is that the very food that the soil in which the food is grown. So you have, for example, very high levels of iodine deficiency in Bhutan. You have very high levels of iodine deficiency in parts of UP, because the very place where food is grown, iodine is deficient. And hence, we have an iodized salt supplementation program where people source their iodine from salt because it is not available in food, right?
Sure.
So what I'm trying to get at, look, I have great respect for plant-based diets and I have great respect for the idea of meditation, but I'm just a little sort of worried that this may be, it may have helped a lot of people, and I have no doubt, and you look so healthy, and I think your father has a wonderful, amazing glow about him, so it's coming from somewhere, and it's coming obviously from the diet that you're recommending. But this is really to try and understand this process and how it works. And also in some terms of the practical aspects, that where are these foods available? I mean, in Bangalore, you provide them and you ensure that they are, they don't have chemical fertilizers, etc., etc. But, in living in a large urban city, where can you access these authentic food items?
Sure.
And the raw material. So I'm interested in what is the source of protein, because vegetarians are notoriously anemic, and so it is balanced. How many elements are there? What are the challenges of acquiring those elements of food? Where do you get them from? I find that in just trying to get a healthy vegetarian organic foods, it's extremely challenging in a large city. And to get all the diversity. You're told, for example, that you should eat food of different colors because that will give you, it's not easy. So I'm trying to get sort of an insight and understanding. I'm sold on the idea, but I just want to understand this better.
Sure. So you asked a number of questions. Let me list them out and answer them one by one. You said man evolved when he started eating
Let's
meat.
not get into evolutionary biology. That is his history. So let's look at contemporary. I was only challenging the fact that you said that the man has always been, species has been always not meat eating. So I just only wanted to question that. So let's not get into the debate. I'm really more interested in the practical dimensions. What is the source of protein that you can get? What is the range of variety? If I have to get 15 different items as opposed to 5, so I'm more interested in the practicality.
So what I would recommend, Mr. Rajiv, is to download an app called the Daily Dozen. You'll find it on Google Play Store and App Store. It's called Dr. Gregor's Daily Dozen. And that has the answer to your question. It has a checklist of foods which you need to eat every day for optimal health and longevity. Specifically to answer the protein question, it's not possible to get protein deficient if you're eating just your rice if you eat only potatoes for the whole year, it's not a healthy diet. You may not get many nutrients on it, but you will still get enough protein. So the protein question is, the answer there. You don't need to worry about it at all.
I very humbly disagree with you on that, but I'll let it be. Sorry. I'll very humbly disagree with you on that, but we'll let it be.
Sure. Well, do feel free to share the research data that you have happy to.
So I would like to just interrupt, Rajivji. I have just shared in the chat box top sources of plant-based protein, an article of 4,808 words that I wrote yesterday.
Tell us the synopsis, that's all I'm asking you.
Yeah. I just shared it with you. You can download it. You can look at it. Send me an email. I'm happy to just share this with you. It is still under edit. Achyuthan has not reviewed it, so it is under his review yet. So hopefully in the next few days, we should be publishing it in our website once it is completely thoroughly checked and references are added to the research material. But I have done enough study on this in the last about a few weeks, and I can tell you that plant-based protein sources are plenty. It's available next door. It's available easily available in every city, in every major places across the country. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is Achyuthan never mentioned that there is any calcium deficiency at all. I'm not sure where you assumed or where you read or studied that. So I would request Achyuthan to focus on, is there any calcium deficiency possible if you follow a plant-based diet? and then why we should take vitamin B12 supplement, why we should take vitamin D supplement.
Sure.
And of course, the last question that sir asked in terms of where are these kind of whole food, plant-based food available in different cities? In Bangalore, of course, you are supplying it. In any other country, any other city, how do people source it? That's, I think, is a very valid question.
Great. So there are two vitamins that plants don't make. One is vitamin D and vitamin B12, which we explained before. Now, if we're living a natural lifestyle, you will get enough sun exposure to make your own vitamin D, so you don't need a supplement for it. If you're living a natural lifestyle in a forest, you'll be drinking water from streams. You're not going to be cleaning your food with chlorinated water, and the little bit of mud that goes in along with your food, the little bit of impurities in the river water, stream water, well water will give you enough vitamin B12 that you require. But since we are living a sanitized lifestyle in a city, that's the reason we recommend taking a vitamin B12 supplement. The other alternative is to eat a spoon of mud every day to mimic what we would do in nature, but you might also end up with other infections, which we want to avoid. And where do we get these foods? At practically any grocery store. Right? Let's go over the list again. We get fruits, dry fruits, nuts, seeds, vegetables, green leafy vegetables, whole grains like brown rice, red rice, millets. Even if you don't get unpolished rice, you'll definitely get millets in all cities, especially in the villages of India. You'll get wheat practically everywhere. You'll get herbs and spices, turmeric powder, pepper, cumin, coriander, cinnamon, cloves, garam masala. You'll find these in practically any grocery store. You don't need to go to a special shop or a special place to get these. All you need to do is plan out your diet well. And I hope the Daily Dozen app is useful for you in order to.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Thank you, Achyuthan, for answering that question.
Thank you, Murali, for that clarification. And I'm sorry if my questions appeared hostile. They weren't. It was really, I felt it was very important for me to understand and to be convinced. You know, I'm a great fan of your father. So what he says is gospel. But you have to get this too. Okay,
just to give you an introduction about Rajiv. Rajiv has been running one of the most, in fact, the most popular talk show in national television for well over, I think, a decade and a half, 2 decades. And he has been a personal disciple of His Holiness Dalai Lama.
Now I am blushing. So let's.
So he's written several books and he guides lots of youngsters, and he'll be a wonderful mentor for any youngsters interested in leading the correct way of life. He's an extremely inspiring individual. So Maheshwari, I would like to invite you to unmute yourself and ask your questions. It's your turn, Maheshwari.
Sir, good evening, sir. I am Ranganathan from Bangalore.
Yes, please.
Actually, from the March, I am just converted to my plant-based vegetation, which is I am taking in the morning and afternoon. Night, I am with the fruits. But I lost my around 10 kilo weights. Is it okay, or I am 65, I am 65 years, 66 years, and I am having the rheumatoid arthritis. Can you suggest some food, specific food for the rheumatoid arthritis? I am practicing Sky Yoga for the last many years, couple of years.
Wonderful. Congratulations to you on adopting a healthier diet, Mr. Ranganathan. Very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I would recommend checking if you are within your ideal BMI range. If you are, then great. That's a wonderful place to be. If you are underweight, then it means that there are some foods which are slipping out of your diet, which you're not able to add in. And for that, please download the Daily Dozen app. You'll find it on your App Store or Play Store. That will help you to confirm that you are indeed eating all the various foods that you can for optimal health and longevity. That will help you to find if there's some food you're missing out. For example, let's say you may not be eating enough whole grains or enough nuts and seeds, enough pulses and legumes, all of which are the more calorie dense whole plant food. And adding those back into your diet may help you get back within your healthy BMI range in case it is lower than normal.
Is it the oil necessary which we are not taking in the plant-based foods? Oil, which I'm not taken any oil from last 4 months.
Great. That's a wonderful step forward, and I'd recommend continuing that. The reason oil is unhealthy for us is because it's processed. For example, if you take a handful of groundnuts, groundnuts are a whole food. They have oil, they also have fiber, they have vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. They are a complete package. Not only do they give you the fat that your body needs to function, they also give you protection from that fat, from the negative effects of that fat. So as long as you're eating, if you remove the fiber, you remove the nutrients, and you're left with only the oil, then that oil can be harmful to your health. But if you consume the oil in its whole form, along with the rest of the nutrients in nuts and seeds, then you'll be able to get a complete nutrition for complete health.
Thank you. Matthew,
Thank
are
you.
you there? It's your time. You can unmute yourself. Request you to speak.
Thank you, sir. It's been a great session. I really appreciate Dr. Achyuthan for conducting this program. And my question is it okay for a non-vegetarian person who has been a noted non-vegetarian for his whole life to suddenly convert to a vegetarian, as easy as a vegetarian person who has been vegetarian for all his life, to get all the supplements from the food he take, just like a vegetarian person? Is it possible for a non-vegetarian person to get and collect all the, the things needed for his body to be, extracted from the vegetarian diet through his stomach? That's my question.
Sure. So two things, Mr. Matthew. One is if they, okay, so one is meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products. The more we consume of these foods, the higher our risk for chronic disease. They increase our risk of obesity, of diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and other chronic disease. So these foods are inherently unhealthy for us. The more we eat, the sicker we get. So if your question is, can I suddenly stop eating unhealthy foods? Will it affect me in any way? The answer is yes, you can go ahead and stop it. The only side effects that you may experience are better health, positive health. You'll feel better, your motion will improve, you'll feel lighter after your meal, your sleep may improve, your weight will reduce, cholesterol will reduce, BP, levels will reduce, and you'll end up leading a longer, healthier life. So you're okay with all that? Then yes, absolutely.
Just you said you'll be getting healthier. I've been searching some videos regarding the longevity and all, and in that I found that the group, the community which has got the maximum longevity is from Okinawa, Japan. And yes, I found that their food habits are like they eat fish and yes, they eat some kind of pork. Yes. And I got confused whether vegetarian diet is good for health or this is good for health. So most of them are about 95 and towards 119. Yeah.
Not only Okinawa, there are several such places. They call it as the blue zones.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Over to you, Achyuthan.
If you go back and read the actual study and find out how much fish they ate, you'll find that it contributes to less than 5% of their caloric intake. Right? Now, the body has an inherent capacity to heal itself. You get hurt, it pains for a few days, but then it repairs itself, it heals itself. Likewise, if you're eating 5 to 10% of your diet from unhealthy food, your body has a capacity to heal itself, right? But the problem happens when you increase it beyond that. If you look at the traditional Indian diet, you look at studies that were written in 1860s, before the 1900s, you'll find that a majority of Indians ate predominantly plant-based foods. Animal foods or processed foods were very rare, except in the upper classes, in the richer sections of society. The people who ate plant-based food, they did suffer from malnutrition simply because they didn't have enough food to eat of various kinds, but they did not suffer from chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, or obesity. So, not just in Okinawa, but even in India, we enjoyed better health before we increased our intake of animal and protein.
Did that answer your question, Matthew?
Pretty much. I have some, objection regarding it, but it's okay. I'm a person who do meditation also. So I found that, and I'm a vegetarian too. And occasionally, maybe in 1 year, twice or thrice, I take some kind of non-veg food just to, balance the diet. And I found that during meditation, when, when the heat, Kundalini heat comes to the body, because of I do increase the amount of time for meditation, maybe for 5 hours sometimes a day, and I found that the thighs inside the leg, the heat, because of the heat, might be the area becomes dark. That area, the area around the root chakra. So I would like to know, is this normal in Kundalini?
Now, Kundalini meditation has nothing to do with the skin or the color of the skin. There is a yoga called as the Kayakalpa Yoga, where you transmute your sexual energy and convert that into a spiritual energy. So basically through the process of Ashwini Mudra and Ojas breathing. And this has been practiced by many, I understand that many Chinese systems of followers, and in fact some of the Buddhist monks were also practicing, is what I've heard. I don't have any evidence of this, but those people have been able to have a shinier skin. But having said that, your skin color is something that cannot be modified by meditation. So I hope I understand your question to be related to whether your meditation or whether in the practice that has changed the color of the skin around your root chakra. No, that's not possible.
Because I'm asking this because while meditation, we feel that something from the root chakra is coming up to the head. And
so I recommend, if you have not already learned the Shanti meditation, I recommend that you go over to a Sky Yoga Center. You can go to vedatri.edu.in. We have over 2,500 centers worldwide. I request you to contact one of the centers so that you can learn the Shanti meditation and bring control over your own life force, Kundalini activation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Whatever. Any other questions? Anyone else? You can just press the hand raise button, and I'm happy to invite you to unmute yourself. Okay, we have Maheshwari once again asking questions. So go on, sir.
Sir, good evening. Can you suggest some food for the rheumatoid arthritis, please? Specific food.
Sure. So if you ask me for a specific food for rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, the answer is always the same. A healthy diet in general will help all of these diseases. So we have a different approach than when you look at it as a medicine, then there are different medicines for different diseases. But when you take a holistic approach and look at it as you eat food to keep your body healthy, and in turn your body takes care of treating the disease, then it becomes a lot easier to understand. It's not about a specific food that helps for a specific disease condition, but it's about every food that you eat, every little spoonful of food that you eat. If you ensure that it's healthy, then your body gets the support that it needs to keep itself healthy for the next few hours, and therefore for the rest of your life. The cause of rheumatoid arthritis, with the latest theories that are there, have been shown to be an autoimmune disease triggered by a bacterial urine infection. Uh, this bacteria seems to come from our stool, our feces, and that gets spread more when we consume animal food in a higher proportion in our diet. So now that you have removed animal food, now that you've increased your intake of whole plant foods, you've taken care of that problem. The other thing that your body will need to do now is reduce inflammation, right? To reduce the autoimmune response, which it will do by itself if you're eating a healthy diet to be. So do download the Daily Dozen app, and you'll find not one, but 12 different things that you'll need to do there. Make sure you're doing all of those. That will definitely help. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you very much, sir. Grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maheshwari. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for asking questions and discussing and learning in the process. Each time I listen to Dr. Achyuthan Eswar, it is a new learning for me. Achyuthan, I would like to also tell you that there are a few people who are watching this live online in YouTube. There is a question by one Jason. His question, I think one part of the question you already answered, which is the difference between whole food plant-based diet and non-vegetarian diet. You have answered it, I believe, in detail. But there's another question that he asked is it necessary during meditation to eat whole food plant-based diet? Your comment, please.
Sure. So in the one of the things Vedatri Maharishi talks about is leading a moral life. The moralization of desires, introspection practice that we do, asks us to ask a question before we do anything. With any desire that you have, is it going to harm me or others, physically or mentally, now or in the future? So let's apply that to the food that we eat. Right? If you consume an animal food or a processed food, is it going to harm me? Yes, it is. Is it going to harm others if it's an animal food? Yes, it is. It might, you might be killing the animal or curbing its freedom or exploiting it in some way. Is it going to harm me now? Yes. Is it going to harm in the future? Yes, by increasing my risk of chronic disease as I grow older. Is it going to harm me physically? Yes, it is, by causing disease. Is it going to harm me mentally? Yes, it is. An unhealthy diet increases the risk of anxiety and depression. So, by all of these counts, eating a whole food plant based diet may seem to be the most moral decision to make, which will definitely help you in your yoga journey as you practice more and more meditation to perfect your personality and become a better person.
The other dimension to this, which I would like your permission to add, Achyuthan, shall I go ahead?
Please, please.
Okay. The other dimension is the food, the diet, has a direct correlation to your state of mind. So when you eat a high fat diet, for instance, low fiber, high fat diet, for instance, dairy, sugar, animal products, eggs, etc., you don't get much of fiber in it, and you get a lot more, high calorie items to go into the food, into your stomach. You feel lethargic, and you will not be able to meditate. If you would like to meditate, you should feel light even after eating a full stomach full of food. And that I have seen happen with plant-based diet. You can eat your stomach full, but still not feel heavy. If you have attended my meditation classes anytime in the past, this food is being served during our meditation classes. Many people tell us that, hey, we ate a lot, but I still don't feel heavy at all. But any other type of food, such as animal food or heavily processed vegetarian food, or dairy-based products, for instance, if we eat sugar-based products, if we eat, that could make you very heavy and you will not be able to meditate. One of the reasons why we meditate is also for good health. So therefore, providing nutritious, healthy food to our body is a fundamental duty of a meditator. I hope I said that right, Achyuthan?
Absolutely.
Okay. Davam AK also has a question. Davam Ike, if you are online, you could unmute yourself and ask your question. You had a long question in the chat box. I request you to unmute yourself and ask that question, please.
வாழ்க வளமுடன், sir.
Welcome.
The weight loss is not a problem for me. I gradually reduce my weight, but some portions of the body like abdomen, hips do not reduce at all. What may be the reason for this, sir?
Sure. So where on your body the body decides to store fat is not in our hands. So in other words, the spot reduction is not possible. You can reduce your overall weight, but eventually your body decides where to take it from. So if you have reduced weight overall, but a few parts of the body have not yet been able to lose fat, it's just a matter of time and more effort, right? Just continue eating healthy and all parts of the body will reach the ideal weight as well. That's about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So a corollary question, and rather an attached question, side question to what ma'am asked, Davam ma'am asked. Is it possible to reduce belly fat specifically using whole food plant-based diet or any other system?
No, the answer is no. Any spot reduction, belly fat, sorry, so whether it's belly fat or thigh fat or any particular fat from any particular part of the body is not possible. The body decides that. What you can decide is how much fat gets burnt today based on the food that you eat today. So if you continuously move towards a healthier diet, then your body continuously move towards an ideal weight. And eventually you'll reach there. It'll just take different turns along the way based on your genetics.
Lovely. Thank you. Satyavati, could you please unmute yourself? You can ask your question.
Am I audible, sir?
Go ahead.
Am I audible, sir? Sir, I have a question. Almost every one of us, or 50% of us, having some pain, either by knee pain or headache. Or can we reduce the pain with diet or meditation? Can you please suggest any idea on that?
Sure. So two things. One is we're talking about the cause of the pain. Why is the pain there in the first place? And second is the symptom of the pain. What do I do to stop feeling the pain that I have right now, right? And the answer to both is yes, to a significant extent. Knee pain, for example, if it's due to osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, both of those diseases are treatable through a whole food plant-based diet with physical exercises and mental relaxation practices like meditation. The second part of the question, can I reduce the symptom of the pain, the sensation that my body is giving me that there's something wrong with that region? Yes, in fact, the two specific foods that help to do that are ginger and chili. When you consume ginger and chili, the research has shown that your perception of pain seems to reduce. So I hope that helps you as well.
Did that answer your question, Satyavati ma'am? Right? Looks like she has muted herself, so I hope it answered her question. Thank you very much. Thank you all for participating in this wonderful session. Achyuthan, we should actually do this more often. Do I have your commitment that at least once a week or 10 days or so, you will go live in our channel? There are several thousand people who are interested in learning more and more about what you have to offer. And I'm sure there are many other questions that people can ask us directly, also related to meditation and diet and various other questions related to their health. And
absolutely.
Lovely, wonderful. So thank you very much. Just once again, I would like to remind you that there is a free ebook available for you to download from sampurnaahara.com. And there are 200 recipes available within a free e-course in nutritionscience.in. Dr. Achyuthan Eswar can be easily reached through his online appointment. If you would like to book an appointment, visit either one of the website, nutritionscience.in or sampurnahara.com. You will get an online link to talk to him. And if you would like to order any whole food plant-based diet products, you can always go to sampurnahara.com and order them right there. You have sweets and savories and snacks. Those are all oil-free, sugar-free, 100% vegan, available for delivery throughout the country in India. And if you are in Bangalore, you can also order breads and condiments and, more importantly, meals that are delivered twice a day to your doorstep in Bangalore, practically to every pin code within Bangalore. If you would like to learn meditation, of course, we have our Simplified Kundalini Yoga centers worldwide by Yogiraj Sri Vedatri Maharishi. The World Community Service Center runs over 2,500 centers worldwide. We have several thousands of them in India, and several countries across the world have these centers as well, starting from Australia to Malaysia to Japan, Sri Lanka to we have centers in the Middle East in many countries. We have centers in UK. We have centers in France and Netherlands. We have many centers in the United States from the east to west. So feel free to visit vedatri.edu.in and reach out to any one of our Sky Yoga meditation centers and awaken your Kundalini. If you have already awakened your Kundalini, congratulations to you. Continue to meditate, especially do not forget your Shanti meditation at least one day in a week, preferably 2 days in a week, to balance your Kundalini so that you can achieve good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame, and wisdom. Until we see you again, have a safe, blissful, peaceful time. Thank you. Be blessed by you.